Yo guys, what is going on? It is your boy Hollywood Steve back with another video right here on the Hollywood Steve Wrestling Podcast right here on YouTube. Guys, see right down there at the bottom, make sure you guys are commenting. Make sure you guys give this video a big old thumbs up. It really helps out with the YouTube algorithm. Make sure you guys are doing that. Make sure you guys are subscribing. And make sure you guys are sharing. Make sure you guys are doing all four of those things before we so just a reminder before we get into that. Make sure you guys are doing that. All right, we're gonna get into things here with the review of Smackdown from Friday night, and then we will get into then we'll have a preview of Monday Night Raw tonight. All right, so we get Tama Tonga with Jacob Fatu, as they show everybody arriving. Then we get LA Knight. Then LA Knight, we get LA Knight arriving, and Tiffany Stratton. She's shown walking in a bar and restaurant area with her luggage. Then we go to Joe Tessitore, who's standing in the middle of in mid ring, and he's getting ready to introduce Cody Rhodes for a one-on-one interview. And let's see here. So Cody makes his way to the ring. Of course, it's Cody loves to play to the crowd. Loves to play the crowd. I love that. Tessitore plugs the contract signing that's going to happen on Saturday. But if you're watching this video, if you guys are watching this video, it's already happened. And I have a video all about it. So if you guys can watch, if you guys want to watch like in order, you guys can watch this video first and then watch the review of Saturday night's main event, and then you guys will be caught up. So just a tip there. So Joe Tessitore's in the ring, plugging the contract signing coming up between Cody and Kevin Owens at Saturday night's main event. Cody's got all his fans behind him. And Tessitore makes the reference that Austin's the hometown of the son of a plumber. He tells Cody that he'll have to turn over his undisputed championship on Saturday and be away from it for a week. And he asked how it feels that this could be his last few precious moments with that in his grasp. Then Cody said Cody goes on to say that Shawn Michaels is the perfect person to moderate the contract signing. He said, Cody goes on to say, we as a company have put the entire future of WWE into Shawn Michaels' hands with NXT. He said he has no problem trusting Michaels with the belt. He said the way you walk into WrestleMania and the main event it, you have this right here. You have this right here with you as he's holding up the title. Tessitore talked about the post-match horror of Kevin Owens taking him out with a package pile driver. Tessitore said it has been a fight on site with him ever since. So he asked how he can keep his cool tomorrow night. Cody asked Austin how they felt about KO. And of course KO gets, they boo KO, And he said there will be a lot of mixed opinions on KO. He said some just judge a book by the cover, but people who do that underestimate him. He said he is a genius in the ring and a heck of an athlete and a once in a generation superstar. He said 10 times out of 10, though, when given a choice between the easy way and the hard way, he chooses the easy way. He said that's why a ladder match is so apt. He said there's not a referee to call a disqualification, but rather it's up to him or KO to climb the ladder and pull down the belt. Tessitore said he's not sure if KO can stay calm enough to listen to him, but he asked what the message would be if KO could listen. Cody said if he could look him in the eye and he'd tell him that maybe he smiles and shakes hands and appears to be a good guy, but that doesn't mean that when you press a button, this gnawing and pettiness and overt BS will continue. He said he is the one who defeated how many considered the greatest champion of his era. He said he's the quarterback in form and function. He said he's a son of a plumber, but he is also a student of Randy Orton. He said he has no problem punching KO back into that car he cuts his promos in. He said he had only one thing to say to him: good luck. So then we go backstage. Pretty Deadly walk up to Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, who were chatting. Gargano said they can't be out there for their match later, but Pretty Deadly said they want the quid pro quo of their deal. Ciampa asked if they were questioning Gargano's integrity. He told them to handle their business. Gargano said they believe in them, so do whatever it takes to get it done. Pretty Deadly turned and bumped into Legado del Fantasma. Then they have a little bit of a showdown. And then we get the graphic that popped up for Saturday night's main event, showing that Braun Breaker and Sheamus would be wrestling for the IC title, and it would be the 15th IC title match on a Saturday night's main event, but the first since 1992, which I thought was a pretty cool stat. I thought that was pretty cool. Of course they show celebrities ringside, and all that stuff. Then we got Pretty Deadly, Kip Wilson and Elton Prince versus Motor City Machine Guns. And in case you guys aren't familiar, that's Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley. And we've already been on SmackDown's already been going for 20 minutes. And we go to an ad break at the 2-minute mark, and after Pretty Deadly threw Sabin into the ring post, Sabin gets the hot tag at the 7-minute mark, coming back out of the ad break. Sabin soon thereafter dove through the ropes and hit both Wilson and Prince at ringside. They eventually finished off Kip Wilson with Skull and Bones, and in a 10-minute match, Motor City Machine Guns pick up the victory. Then backstage, we got Miz visiting Nick Aldis' office, and Miz said that he saw the interview with Cody earlier, and he said Tessitore did a good job, but there's no substitution for Miz TV. He asked if that's why he wanted him there. Aldis said he's part of Aldis told him, "Hey Miz, you're part of SmackDown now." And Miz is like, No, wait. But the Wyatts are here on SmackDown. Miz said I had them strategically moved to SmackDown So Miz said, how did I end up here? And Nick Aldis just, I love this line by Nick Aldis. Nick Aldis says, well, you better make some new friends fast. And then we get back to Joe Tessitore. Joe Tessitore plugs a Saturday Night's Main Event video package that aired on Braun Strowman and Jacob Fatu with the tail of the tape that had and I thought that was really cool. It had a fight video fight video game like feel to it. I thought that was really, really cool. Then we cut back to Joe Tessitore and Wade Barrett at ringside. They're talking about Strowman and Fatu's match. When KO barges past the ringside barricade, he asked Tessitore why he took time to interview Cody and not him. He said he misses Michael Cole. He said, but Cole is too busy kissing Pat McAfee's, you know what, to be on Smackdown. He stood on the desk, and KO stood on the desk, and Tessitore stood up, backed away, and KO delivers one heck of a promo here to prove at Saturday Night's Main Event that he's the true rightful WWE champion. And then Matthew McConaughey was at ringside, and he asked Matthew McConaughey. He asked Matthew McConaughey what he's looking at, and I thought that was pretty good. I thought that's pretty funny. But of course, WWE's got the celebrities in the at ringside now. But anyway, getting back to the action, KO takes a dig at the Longhorns. Obviously, the hometown. They gotta do that. And then we get Jimmy Uso's music, and Jimmy walks out. Jimmy confronts KO in the ring. KO asks him why he's here. Jimmy said because you talk too dang much. And he punches him and then went for a top rope splash, but KO rolls out of the ring, and Jimmy challenges KO to a match later on. And Jimmy challenged and Wade Barrett says, "Dang, I want to see that." And then they show, of course, and so Matthew McConaughey got a lot of TV time on SmackDown. He's cheering that on, he's cheering for that. And then then we get Piper and Nevin arriving to the arena, more celebrities. And Wade Barrett made the announcement that KO versus Jimmy was officially taking place later on Friday. Later on that night. And then we get Carmelo confronting Nick Aldis backstage. And he says he was supposed to have a match with Jimmy tonight, or on Friday. And Aldis said, "Well, things happen." He said he could face him next week. And Aldis said he just acquired a new Raw wrestler, and he thinks Hayes might be the perfect first opponent. Hayes says, "That's perfect. I'll humble and embarrass him and show him that SmackDown is the land of sharks." Then we get Chelsea Green and Piper Niven versus B-Fab and Michin. And we're now about over almost an hour into SmackDown. Chelsea Green does her trash talking to Michin, about a minute into the match. Michin sets up a move and she does his butt wiggle now. But Niven stood on the ring apron and distracted Michin. Green recovers and attacks Michin to take control. B-Fab gets the hot tag 3 minutes into the match. Barrett compares B-Fab's legs to Stacy Keibler. If you guys don't know who Stacy Keibler is, she was part of the Attitude Era, and she had these really long, skinny legs. And she gives Chelsea Green a DDT to score a near fall, which is broken up by Piper Niven. Michin gets tagged in and lands Eat Defeat for the pinfall over the U.S. champion. And so B-Fab and Michin are your winners. And again, it's only like a little 5-minute match. Again, women getting 5 minutes. And it's your women's United States champion. I've said this countless times. The women need to get more time on this show, on both Raw and on SmackDown. They need to get more time. It's insane. Absolutely insane. And then we cut backstage. We get Damian Priest walking in as he's shaking hands with Aldis. And Hayes looks at Aldis and says, nah. And Aldis informs him that hey, you wanted to match? Hayes wanted to match with him. So he says, Priest says, I came here to work and I'm ready to punish. And Priest and Aldis shake hands, and so here we go. And then we get Tiffany Stratton walking backstage. Then we get a vignette airing with Charlotte Flair saying she's crafted a legacy no one can touch, which is true. She is a 14-time women's champion. She says she knows exactly who she is and she's back. She talked about entering the Rumble with a smile on her face and a tear in her eye, and she will remind everyone who owns the night. And she lets out a woo, just like her dad. And Tiffany Stratton's walks out with her belt. Stratton enters the ring and says, once again, she is the center of everyone's attention. She said next week, when at the Rumble, 30 women will be fighting for a chance to face her at WrestleMania. And she said just last week she beat last year's Rumble winner Bayley. So she's not worried in the slightest. She said whoever wins will be running on Tiffy time. And then we get Rhea Ripley's music hitting. And the crowd goes ballistic. The crowd goes crazy. And Wade Barrett says, looks like she's seen a ghost. and said, it was a pleasant surprise. Ripley said she respects what she did to Nia Jax, but it won't compare to what she does to her at Saturday night's main event. Again, this has already happened, so you guys can go back and watch the video of my review of Saturday night's main event. And then Nia Jax's music plays, and she makes her way to the ring with Candice LeRae. She said it was rude that she was catching strays for him. She said it was a historic moment because she was there to announce she was entering and winning the Royal Rumble match. She told a kid And she tells a kid in the crowd, "Your mom sucks." And she said she's ending Ripley's reign of terror on Saturday night's main event. She said she'll beat Ripley and then win the Rumble and take the title from Stratton too. And then we get Bianca Belair and coming out with Naomi, and Naomi said Naomi declares for the Royal Rumble, and so does Bianca Belair. So both Naomi and Bianca are in the Royal Rumble. So this is going to be really interesting. This is going to be real interesting, guys, because we still, to this day, we still don't know who attacked Jade Cargill. We still don't know who attacked her. And so there's a lot of people saying, a lot of things I'm reading that people saying that it was Bianca, that it wasn't Naomi, but I'm hearing both. I'm hearing it was Bianca, I'm hearing it was Naomi. I'm hearing both, so we'll find out. And then we get Bella tells Jax, that she absolutely is not going to win the Rumble. Then we get Liv Morgan and Raquel Gonzalez coming out to Liv's music. Liv takes digs at all the women in the ring. She said tonight will be about her declaring because she's declaring for the women's Royal Rumble match, and she's also declaring a victory for herself. And Raquel just stands there and nods, and I'm surprised that Raquel is not in the Royal Rumble match either, because Raquel Gonzalez is so much more than just a bodyguard. She's so much more than that, and she's this dominant force. And yet she's just standing there, just nodding. Liv says Raquel's going to assure her victory. Then Rhea nails Liv with a headbutt. As Liv gets in Rhea's face, or gets in the space between the rest of the ladies, the rest of the women, Rhea just nails Liv with a nails Liv with a headbutt. Then of course we get a brawl that breaks out. A brawl breaks out. Wade Barrett said, he says somebody needs to take control, and we get and he asked, "Where's Nick Aldis?" And of course, here comes Nick Aldis running out to the ring. And then we get to and then coming out of the ad break, they show an excited, we get the fans being seen in the concourse, and concourse area. Joe Tessitore, he likes to tout whatever arena they're in, so he's touting the arena. Then we get a 6-woman tag. We get Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair and Naomi going up against Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill. Nia Jax, Liv Morgan, and Candice LeRae with Raquel Rodriguez. Wade Barrett says that they wanted to fight. Aldis may as well turn it into. If they wanted to fight, Aldis may as well have turned it into a match, which he did. And Belair and Ripley flip Naomi onto Jax on the mat with admitted into the match. Naomi and Liv get tagged in pretty briefly here. Then Belair and Naomi get a double team in. Get a double team in on Liv. Candice LeRae helped stop Belair's attack on Liv. Jax gets the blind tag and sets up an Annihilator, but Belair knocks her to the floor. And then we cut to a commercial break. Belair eventually rallies against Liv and spears her. Jax breaks up the cover. Rhea slams Liv onto Jax, and we get chaos breaking out with LeRae and Ripley joining in the battle. Belair gave LeRae the KOD, but Liv leveraged Belair's shoulders down with a Mahi straw cradle. We get Belair, Naomi, and Ripley picking up the win here in a nice little 12-minute match. Nice little 12-minute match, But it's, again, it's a women's match, and again, they don't really pay that much attention to women's matches, which, again, I think the WWE needs to really, really pay attention to the women's matches and give the women more time. But I digress. I've said this. I've said this for such a long time. And we get Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. Chelsea Green asked Piper Niven where she was and how it could have happened. That B-Fab and Meechin walk in, and B-Fab said the win happened because the numbers were even. And Meechin says that Aldis gave her one final crack at Chelsea Green's United States title next week. And I'm sure, and of course, this does not sit well with Chelsea Green. And Chelsea says that they need better security detail. And we get Gargano making his way to the ring as he is taking on Apollo Crews. And Johnny Gargano is accompanied by Tommaso Ciampa, the other half of the World Tag Team Champions. As Crews makes his entrance, we get a little video clip from last week of Gargano attacking Crews after he tells Pretty Deadly that Gargano and Ciampa don't have their best interest in mind. Ciampa knees Crews at ringside after Gargano tossed him through the ropes. The Motor City Machine Guns come out. Ciampa yells at them from the ring apron. Crews rolls up a distracted Gargano for a leverage 3 count. And this is a short 4-minute match. And yeah, okay. And then we get Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga walking backstage. And if you guys have heard this, if you guys are familiar with MLW and you've heard this promo before, it's very familiar because Jacob Fatu used the same promo when he was in MLW. He says, Fatu said, "Braun isn't Godzilla or King Kong. I'm all gas, no brakes," he yelled. He yells and he says, "I'm all gas, no brakes." And then both Fatu and Tama Tonga make their way to the ring for Tonga's match. And then after just a little thing about the social media clip, showing more celebrities in the ring, we get to the match, which is L.A. Knight, versus Tama Tonga. Of course, with Jacob Fatu in his corner. LA Knight stands on the ring apron with the mic in his hand. He says that they had a heck that they have you know what to pay tonight, and he takes a couple of digs at him. He said there might not be anything left for Braun at Saturday night's main event, and he apologized to Braun. And Joe Tessitore makes the point that says that that Knight is on fire. And we get the start of the match. Knight clotheslines Tama over the ringside barricade. Knight slingshots himself with a shoulder tackle onto Tonga. When they fought at ringside, Knight turned to warn Fatu to stay away from him. Tonga then rams Knight into the ringside steps. And then we go to a commercial break, and then coming out of the break, Knight makes a nice little comeback, knocking Tonga off the ring apron into the announce desk. He then did a wrecking ball swing through the ropes, but he completely missed Tonga, and he completely misses Tonga. So, and he looked kind of pretty upset about that. Looked upset. Not sure whose fault that was. Tonga lands a leaping DDT back in the ring for a 2 count. Knight lands a leaping elbow drop a minute later, but had to fend off Fatu. Tonga then rolled up a distracted Knight for a 2 count. Knight kicked out and hit the BFT for the win. And so LA Knight picks up the win in a nice little 12-minute match here. All right, and then post-match, Fatu attacks LA Knight and gives him a leaping Samoan drop onto the announce desk. Fatu headbutts Knight a few times. And we get Strowman's music playing, and he comes out to stop any further attack. Strowman enters the ring, and Tonga pulled Fatu off the ring apron. Fatu pushes Tonga aside and steps onto the ring apron. Strowman plays to the Strowman obviously is playing to the crowd here, and Fatu and him stare at each other from across the ring, and and it's just it's crazy. This was absolutely crazy. As Tama Tonga directs him, Fatu lets out this yell. Fatu charges, but Braun sidesteps him and then clotheslines him over the top rope. Then Tonga pulls Fatu away, and then we get the plug for Saturday night. Then we get the Miz backstage. He's pitching himself to Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, and he said together they're going to run SmackDown. And Aldis said he had 3 words for Theory and Waller: pack your bags. He congratulated him. Theory and Waller were excited. Miz was sad. And then we get a Shinsuke Nakamura vignette. Now, I love this new Shinsuke. This is the darker side. This is the darker side of Shinsuke Nakamura. I absolutely love this Shinsuke. This is a side of Shinsuke Nakamura that I have not seen in a long time. This is a side of Shinsuke that I have not seen, that I am absolutely falling in love with. This is a great version of Shinsuke Nakamura. This dark, evil side, this like fallen or dark samurai, if you will, that Shinsuke Nakamura's character is portraying now. He's portraying this dark samurai, and I love it. This is vintage Shinsuke Nakamura. And if you go watch him in New Japan, It's amazing, amazing, absolutely amazing. So Shinsuke, we get a vignette here by Shinsuke where he's speaking in his native Japanese, and we and I love that too. I love that they're allowing Shinsuke to use to talk in Japanese, and I love how we get the captions at the bottom, so he can it's being translated what he's saying. He says he will retain his title against all challengers. Plus, he's entering the Rumble, and he'll win again. And he said that 2025 will be the year of his conquest, starting with the Rumble. And I believe that. I I believe Shinsuke because Shinsuke Shinsuke is good. Shinsuke is good. And I don't think he's winning the Rumble, but I think he's going to have a really good showing. Then we get Damian Priest and Carmelo Hayes. Barrett gives Hayes a lot of credit for not backing down. And Testator mentions that says that Hayes carries himself like a real number one draft pick, who's also in the process of being humbled. And Hayes almost shoves Priest into the ring post, but Priest stopped short. Hayes kicked him and tried again and this time did knock him into the ring post. Hayes stood on the top rope and and plays to the crowd, and then coming out of the ad break, after fighting at ringside, Hayes lands the first 48 for a near fall. Priest makes a comeback and lands south of heaven for the win. And this match, this was an 11-minute kind of, not a squash match, but a good 11-minute match. Any match with Damian Priest, I mean, is good. I like Damian Priest, and any match with Carmelo Hayes is good. Then we get DIY. They're going back and forth. They're yelling at Aldis as Motor City Machine Guns walk up, and they're all smiles. And Alex Shelley reveals that they're getting a tag title shot in a 2 out of 3 falls match at the Royal Rumble. And then we get Joe Tessitore. He's plugging Smackdown next week, which is going to feature DIY and Pretty Deadly against Motor City Machine Guns, Los Garzas, Jimmy Uso versus Carmelo Hayes, Chelsea Green versus Michin for the U.S. title, and Liv Morgan versus Naomi. And then we get a shot of Michelle McCool and Mark Henry in the crowd. Former WWE, superstars and WWE Hall of Famers, which is really cool. Which is cool. I always like how they do that. I always like how they show the Hall of Famers. I think that's really cool. And then we get cameras backstage. We get a camera backstage that's filming Damian Priest talking to Cody. When Cody walks up to him, he says he's glad to have him. And Priest smiling says, "I thought this was a really interesting line." He says, "See you soon, champ." So Damian, we soon gonna maybe get Damian Priest versus Cody. Is that gonna be Cody's next feud? Ooh, that would be a good one. And then Wade Barrett and Joe Tessitore giving their final pitch for Saturday night's main event. And we get Miz sucking up to Andrade. Andrade backstage, and he said he just needs someone to help guide him to become the superstar he truly is. Andrade says that he loves the idea, but he adds, "Let me go find someone." Jimmy walks in and laughs at the Miz, of course. The Miz is becoming a comedy character now, which I think is like ridiculous that he's just become this comedy character. I think it's the Miz is so much better than that, and he's just become this comedy character. The Miz is just like he's this comedy character, and you know, not well, he's not comedy character like R-Truth, but they're not. The Miz needs to be in the title picture. He needs to be involved in the title picture some way, somehow. I don't care. He needs to be in the title picture. He's more than just this guy that, I need help, help me with the Wyatts, I need, buttering up to other wrestlers, just put the Miz in a program, WWE. That's all you got to put. The Miz is so good. Put him in a program. Put him in a title program. Please. So after all that, then he heads toward, Jimmy heads toward the ring. Hayes told him that they'll take more than, or Hayes tells Jimmy that it's going to take more than just 3 moves to beat, let's see, hold on. Hayes told him that it'll take more than 4 moves. Yeah. So Carmelo Hayes tells Jimmy that it's going to take more than 4 moves to beat KO, but Jimmy tells Carmelo Hayes that he'll just need 3 moves to beat him next week. So Jimmy makes his way to the ring, and Carmelo attacks him from behind as he's going down the aisle. And we got Nick Aldis and all the other officials jumping in. Jimmy heads toward the ring as Carmelo Hayes is escorted away. Then we get our main event for the night, and Jimmy attacks KO right at ringside. KO takes control in the ring. Jimmy takes it to KO, but then KO knocks Jimmy hard off the ring apron into the announce desk. He follows it up with a frog splash, and then we get a picture-in-picture commercial break. Coming out of that, we get KO in control. KO controls the action in the ring during the break, as we're watching the picture-in-picture, KO is pretty much in control of the match here. But Jimmy makes a comeback and sets up a suplex. KO resisted and yanks Jimmy face first into the turnbuckle. Owens then goes for a top rope swanton. Jimmy puts his knees up and KO's head hits Jimmy's knees. Jimmy then gets up, or Jimmy then gives him a Rikishi hop attack in the corner, just like his dad. Jimmy lands a Samoan drop for a near fall. KO avoids a corner splash by Jimmy, but Jimmy caught him charging. Catches KO charging with a super kick for a 2 count. And Joe Tessitore makes mention that Jesse the Body Ventura is going to be on commentary tomorrow night during the KO, and or not during the KO, but during the Sheamus Braun Breaker match for the Intercontinental Championship. KO and Jimmy, they both exchange super kicks. KO avoids a Jimmy splash and then goes for a pop-up powerbomb, but Jimmy slips free and super kicks KO for a near fall. Jimmy spears Owens seconds later. KO knocks Jimmy off the top rope and then throws him shoulder first into the ring post. KO then lands his pop-up powerbomb for the win. And this is a good pop up, good match. Good 14-minute match. Anything that KO and Jimmy do together is KO and Jimmy are awesome in the ring together. But post match, KO sets up a package power bomb on the announce desk, and we get Cody's music playing, and Cody charges out. Cody throws KO around the ring, including into the ring steps, and that is it. That is Smackdown, boys and girls. That, boys and girls, is Smackdown, and it was pretty action packed. It was pretty action packed. There was a lot of action on SmackDown on Friday. But like I said, go back and watch my video on Saturday night's main event because it's already happened. So if you watch Saturday night's main event, or if you go watch this video on Friday Night SmackDown, you'll get caught up as to what takes place, what happens on Saturday night's main event, how the stories are kind of advanced. You'll be caught up there. So I encourage you guys, go watch today's video, then watch the video on Saturday night's main event, and that is going to be it for this video, guys. Remember, when you're Hollywood Steve, it's for life, brah.